things I thought at some point it'd be kind of fun is to share stories of being a Shopsmith demonstrator, because that's just a bizarre job. And the people that are demonstrators are bizarre people, and there's just all kinds of weird stuff that's happened over the years with that, and traveling all over the nation like that. But maybe I'll make a video on that someday.
That would be really funny to see. Yeah. What's uh what's the most memorable moment that you could
Hmm.
share?
You know Bill Childress, don't you?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes.
Bill, of course, was a larger than life guy, and I worked with him probably more than anyone else. I partnered up with him quite a long time, and I could tell you all kinds of Bill stories, but just one in particular. Guy came by the booth. We were working in Northern California, and he walked by and he said something. Bill was up there and said something like, "That's too expensive." And Bill, he's always got the retort right there. He says, "Sir, may I suggest that it's not too expensive? Perhaps it's just that you can't afford it." And that guy's head just exploded. You know, I can afford anything I can buy and see. So, so Bill stepped behind the booth there, and I walked over to the guy and said, let's get even with this. Let's get even with Bill. Let's order you one of these. Show him what you can do. He ordered everything. I mean, he spent tons of money. And oh, one other thing on as far as that, I was in Tucson, Arizona, and there was a woman in the booth. I'm keeping you for something. Let me know, Scott. But anyway, there was a woman came by the mall demonstrations, and she was kind of middle-aged woman, petite, just standing there with her clutching her purse like this and off to the side. Well, when I got done with the presentation, she walked up and said, "Well, how much would it be for everything?" And I'm sure you've heard that question before. We used to get that a fair amount, and really, people don't want a real answer to that. But so I had a stock answer, which was, "Well, I'm not really sure, but if you want, I'll sit down with you and add it all up." And first person that ever did that, she said, "Yeah, I like that." Okay, we sat down, Scott, and we went through that whole everything in that catalog. That wasn't a duplicate of
Oh
something
my
else. We got it
gosh.
all done, and she said, "Do you take a check?" That was $15,000 order, biggest order I've ever seen, and that's 30 years ago.
Oh
And
my
somewhere
gosh.
while I was writing it all up, trying to make conversation, I could tell she was married. She had a wedding ring on. So I said, "Well, how does your husband feel about this?" She said, "It's my money and none of his damn business." I said, "Uh-oh." But I followed up with her, and she took all the classes in the Tucson store. So she was serious about
Oh,
doing it. So that was fun.
that is great. You mentioned about being halfway through the second presentation when you bought your Mark V. I remember at one time Shopsmith did a survey and found out that the average Mark V owner purchased it after 2.5 demonstrations. And it's so funny that when we were working in the store, I had the pleasure of being halfway through a demo when a guy said, "I'll take it."
The first
And
time you'd seen
and
it.
well, no. Seriously, he had seen it before.
Okay.
But then the funniest story was it was a Saturday afternoon. We're 30 minutes away from closing time at the store there in Dayton. And the guy walks over and he's standing at the Mark V, the demo unit. So we usually knew what that meant, right? And we approached him. One of the guys in the store approached and asked, "Do you have any questions about the Mark V?" And he says, "Well, I'd love to see it demonstrated." And to his credit, he said, "Well, have you seen it demonstrated before?" "Yes." "Did you have any questions about what you saw?" "No, not really." "Would you like us to get one ready to take home?" "Yeah, yeah, I
There you
would."
go.
Now, see, if I had approached him an hour and a half later, we would have gotten around to that point. But somebody was smart enough to ask, "Had you seen it before? Did you have any questions? Why don't we get this wrapped up for you?"
Yep.
And
That's sometimes people just want to be asked, don't they? They just you got to ask the question.
they do.